Very good morning, everyone, and welcome to the briefing for Monday, the 29th of July. Well, good news today in terms of it's going to be a lovely day out there, certainly for being around and sunbathing, apart from the sunburn. But it's not going to be great in the way of soaring, certainly nothing like what we saw yesterday. But here's a synoptic for midday. We've got high pressure. They're showing two centers on here, one just out to our east and another one out to the west. Basically, we've got a southeasterly flow today, which is never great for soaring, but as I mentioned, normally pretty good for sunbathing. Continuing on, we have got this occlusion just set out to the west here. Not going to bother us today, and probably not tomorrow either. Might bring in some unsettled weather on Wednesday, but otherwise similar picture tomorrow, and then Wednesday potentially a bit more unsettled with low pressure moving in and frontal activity over the top of us. Watch this space really. I think it looks quite changeable at the moment. Yeah, clouds you can see almost the entirety of England is clear, and that's going to pretty much stay the case all day. Likewise with rainfall, a little bit out to the northwest here, associated with that front. And as we roll through the forecast, you can see it's not really moving. A few little spots moving towards England, but certainly not going to affect us here at Lasham. And if anyone does go cross country, it's not going to affect you. Public forecast then for Lasham showing a sunny day, no doubt about it, with top temperature about 26 degrees. Steady breeze from the southeast by the looks of it, and yeah, drying out quite a lot. Humidity down at 40%. UV index up at 7, so plenty of sunscreen today. So GFS showing in our area just after midday, 25 degrees or so. Similar up to the north, noticeably cooler as you get down to the south coast, unsurprisingly, and a little bit cooler down into the west country as well. And if we look at dew points, 12 to 14 or so, similar as you go inland, actually, and similar over London, maybe slightly less very north, down to 10 degrees there. So if they're going to get any cumulus, yeah, slightly higher, 14s, 15s out into the West Country. That was a view outside 20 minutes ago. Give that a refresh. It hasn't changed apart from the tractors in a slightly different position. Just give this a refresh as well. So currently it's already 22 degrees with dew points down at 14. You see there's opening up quite nicely, quite quickly. Odium's METAR, really nice and short. 6 knots from the east and their TAF, nice and short. Look at that. Could almost fit on one line. Cav OK, 5 knots from the east. So really easy. Okay, so top meteo potential flight distances as shown. You can see it's predicting we're on the edge of a significantly worse area to the south and a much better area to the north. So that is, of course, the sea air coming in with the southeasterly breeze quite promptly. If we run through thermals, yeah, just about getting going by 10, better by 11 o'clock, probably up to 1400 meters, so 4,000 feet. So as soon as it triggers, it will get going quite well. Running it through the afternoon, possibly some cumulus way up to the north, north of Husbos, but this looks almost certain there's going to be blue down here. And not quite as good by the looks of it. You see 1400 meters, whereas you get to sort of Oxford area, it's 1900 meters. So potentially win the sea breeze from the start, hard to say, but it's not going to be as good down here as unfortunately it is further to the north. Give you a sight forecast for Lasham. Thermal strength by midday, 3 knots, 2.5 knots into the afternoon, and it looks like it's petering out from about 3 onwards. Quite clearly the sea breeze coming in. Above the ground, 4,000 feet pretty much all day. Sky sight then, even less optimistic. If we look at potential flight distance, see in the Lasham area is pretty poor. Good into London as always. And you have to go quite a long way north on this forecast to get into the better area. Up to sort of Husbos is where it really starts to get good, and north of there looks quite nice. If we look at depths of thermals, sorry, not that one. Cumulus depth, i.e., are we likely to get cumulus? It looks very unlikely in our area. It's minus 1,800 feet there. And the first place it goes positive is probably Husbos and above. So it looks very unlikely that anywhere in the south today we're going to get any cumulus. So site forecast for Lasham then, it's showing just under 3 knot thermals from about midday. But I think this is just the penalty of it being blue. You can see the condensation level was off the scale. So very, very certain on this forecast, so we're not going to get any cumulus. If we look somewhere a little bit further north, the first place that looks sort of half decent is sort of Bicester East area. And you can see a little bit stronger up to about 4 knots and the condensation level at least on the graph. So you could possibly get some cumulus there. Basically, the further north you are, the better. No TAMs, nice and easy today. There's really not a lot going on. Couple of paragliders, number 40 up here, Microlight Championships, that's just to the east of Huspos. So I expect that'll be carnage. Otherwise, really not a lot going on. Okay, setup. It's going to be 09. I doubt we're going to need a grid. If there is a lot of you, then feel free, but I'm pretty sure we won't need one. Winch will be offset, most likely somewhere down this way with the cables coming down the right-hand side or the south side of the gliders. Most, if not all, aerotows will be off the northern edge of the runway. And if there are a lot of people and we do decide to grid, then normal position on the north side grass, 2 wingspans from the edge of the perimeter track, and any heavy gliders, high wing loading gliders, come to the runway because you're not going to have a lot of headwind today. So standard 09 setup, I don't think we're going to need a grid, to be honest. So for the club pilots, we have 5K21s today, 2K13s. That should say 2 baby grobs, S8, 7 and 8. 6 is just in for its annual at the moment. All 3 discuses. Just a reminder, the cross runways should be considered an emergency landing option only. Doing a simulated cable rope doesn't count as an emergency unless you've really got yourself into a bad situation. So instructors, please take over as necessary to avoid landing on the cross runways unless you absolutely need to for safety reasons. We've gone through loads and loads of tyres this year and a few more recently. So the workshop has just flagged this up. No movement scheduled today. Ground handling is improving. Please make sure you've all read the publication and you put that into practice. And the simulator is serviceable if anyone wants it. Been doing some upgrades to that recently. The controls feel a lot nicer now. We've got force feedback on them. So you get a little bit too slow, you'll feel the stall buffet and things like that. So it's quite fun, actually. Okay, looks like a very nice day. Maybe not the best for soaring, but we'll see what we can do. I will see you out there. Bye for now.